Hello, my name is Diana Lewis. I am the host and the founder of the Sole2soulproject. Here you will get to see my interview with the Real Michelle Kramer, as seen on Surviving R. Kelly, the mother of Dominique Gardner, but in my humble opinion, the mother of mothers. I hope you enjoy the show.
It don't look like I have my earplugs with me. Oh no, I was not prepared. I was prepared for 4 o'clock.
I know, Mish. What is the, you said, so that means you guys are 6 and not 5 hours. 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 6 hours, not five.
Right. Okay. All right. I'm ready. I got
Okay.
my earplugs in.
All right, my darling. So we're going to do what we can with what we have right now. I welcome
Yes.
everybody to the Real Michelle Kramer. And unfortunately, we just got the times. I got the times. We're going to do the best we can. All right.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So, good evening from wherever in the world you are joining us today. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be with us. And I thank you. All right. So, we're going to go on and on until we can get wherever it is we need to go. You all right there, Mish?
Yes. Hold on. The time was wrong. It was 3 o'clock. So just go in there and go. Just watch her in the car. So you can just go. Okay.
Yeah.
My daughter even said 3 o'clock, and I told her no, it was 4 o'clock. So
Tell
I'm gonna.
Dominique I said I am so sorry. Dominique, I'm so sorry. The
She said,
English
baby.
time, some places it's 4, some it's 3. My
Okay, so you go
apologies.
in and I'll watch her. Okay. She's gonna go in the
Yeah?
store and I'm gonna watch the baby so we can talk then.
Excellent. Can you hear me well?
I got my earplug in.
All right, cool. All right. So you know, I'll wait for you to sit down.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. So as I've said to everybody, Michelle, that we know that Instagram only gives us 60 minutes. So however it goes, we'll do the best we can. And if we get thrown out and you can come back, we'll come back and we'll conduct it and we'll take it from there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Again, my apologies.
It's
Right.
okay.
So I just want to make some housekeeping rules very clear. Please, can you make your questions known in the comments below? And Michelle will randomly pick out, all right? However, she has a no comments rule, so please be mindful of that. So, January 2019, there was 2.1 million viewers tuned in to watch and hear the truth about the young woman that emerged from the shadows of the infamous Surviving R. Kelly. Joining me tonight is the mother of that young lady, Dominique Kramer. Here we have for you the real Dominique Gardner, sorry. Here I bring to you the wonderful, the beautiful, the phenomenal Michelle Kramer, the mother of mothers, in my humble opinion. So just this one time, well, I was one of them viewers that took an interest to not wanting to believe that all of what I had heard was true. I will hold my hand up to this. Not someone who could belt out hit after hit after hit. A musical genius to the world is now a sexual predator, and in some cases, it has been termed a sex cult and even possible sex trafficking. So for those of you who watched it, this mother was the mother who, in a courageous camera rescue, had been able to track down her daughter at the hotel in Los Angeles, a long way from her home in Chicago. Michelle, there's so many things here that I want to say, and I'm mindful of where we begun in terms of the time. So I just want to say thank you for allowing us to make today possible. We've been, speaking for a couple of months now, and you really have been someone who I give credit to in terms of communication. You've just been phenomenal with that, and I just want to say thank you. All right.
Well, thank you for
That's
having me.
that's a personal thank you. Very much a
You're welcome.
personal thank you. So thank you. So today, joining me in her first interview of 2020 is Michelle Kramer. So Now I know you have done and had many interviews since you were thrust into the eyes of the media, and many times having to repeat yourself over and over and over again. So some of what I'm going to ask you, you may sound familiar with, but I'm going to ask it anyway, so as to jog your memory, not that you need it being jogged, of some and for others who were sickened and saddened at the whole affair, who may have not watched for many reasons. So this is for the viewers. I welcome your opinions, and I would appreciate if you could refrain from any hostile comments as we endeavor to maintain a holistic platform to be openly discussed freely and from a place of authentic maturity. Are you ready, my dear?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So many, Michelle, would say that you are to blame because you left or trusted your daughter with him. What do you say to this?
It wasn't that I trusted him. Never that. I trusted my daughter. We all have daughters or sons, and they tell us one thing, we have to believe them until we see other things. So it wasn't never about me trusting him. I always trusted her. So that's it.
Thank
That's
you.
all. It was just
Thank
trusting
you.
her. And I still continue to trust her on her decision because at the end of the day, she was grown.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Okay. Thank you for that. I read that your daughter, Dominique, had become a super fan back in 2010, and that she had in her room, plastered all over her bedroom, posters of him, and at times would say to you, meet your new son-in-law. How did this make you feel when those words actually became a sure enough reality?
I wasn't prepared for it, you know. Then I mean, he is from Chicago. He lived 20 minutes from our home at the time, and she was just a fan. You know, she was his number one fan, literally, and she used to always say it. And then she ended up meeting somebody on MySpace that was a fan of his too. And we all, if you didn't watch the documentary, it was a young lady that introduced my daughter because he used to have parties. But she was telling me she was going out with friends. Me trusting her because she'd always been a good girl. And I did until the one day I was actually at a concert and her one friend told me, do you know where your daughter's at? And I said, yeah, she's bowling with so and so. She said, no, she's not. She's with him. And I
Mm.
left the concert. I told my son, and we pulled over to his house, you know, and the Olympia Field police was outside. And it was not a pretty scene. And we made it back home, and my daughter made it back home. And I called him and told him, you know, stay the fuck away from my daughter. And did he do that? He probably did to a certain extent, but she, you know, was still in contact with him after she turned 18. So that's how
Okay.
that went.
So when she turned 18, is that so? Take us back to 2013 after Dominique graduated. What happened then?
She
How
told
did
me that she
things
wasn't
change?
going to contact him anymore, but she told me she was in love and he promised her a dream, maybe more like a nightmare. And when she turned 18, it's nothing I can do. It was nothing I could do. She was grown.
Mm.
So, yes, I
How
know.
how how did things change for you then? So 2013 she graduated, and as you said, there was nothing you could do because of her
Her
age and
age.
where
Right.
she was and everything. So how did things change for you in 2015? So in an interview you had with the Rolling Stones magazine, there were words to the effect of, so just as much as I didn't like it, how many women can say they like their son-in-law or daughter-in-law? Does this indicate you saw something not pleasing about him then? And what was it?
I never saw. I never saw anything. People have to realize I only met the man one time in my life, so I never hung out with him. Never knew nothing about him. Just that he was who he was. I know. And so that was all. I can't tell you if I liked him or disliked him. You can't like a person, dislike a person you don't even know. I just
Mm.
heard the things later on, and that's when I started remembering, stuff that she would tell me it wasn't adding up. And then I think back as a mother, like, I remember that. I remember that. And that's how it went. But I can never say I didn't like him. I only met him one time in my life. One time.
Okay.
And that was back then. I can't even tell you what year. I just knew it was Macy. It's
Mm.
okay. It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay.
All right. So myself and Michelle, we had a meeting some time ago, and you invited me into your world because I really wanted to make this so much about yourself.
Yes.
Hello, baby.
Say hi.
More than your daughter. And there is a lot to cover, but I wanted to make this interview, as I said, personal in the sense that it's geared around really who is the real Michelle Kramer the world has come to know. But before you answer that question, before the world knew of you and Dominique, what were your days and nights like without your only daughter? Tell us about that ordeal when, because you've got 3 children. Dominique is your middle. She's your only girl.
Yeah.
What would that like? Because I know I've got 2 daughters, and they're like my best friends,
Yeah.
my sisters kind of relationship. So I kind of understand that relationship with a mother and her daughter. When you saw that your daughter was growing up and becoming who she wanted to be, how did that make you feel, knowing that you had less and less time as a mum to put certain, ultimatums onto her in her life?
Um, I could just say I missed her a lot. I always prayed for her, and I would talk to her, and she would just tell me some things that wasn't true. And I was like, Nika, I miss you. Why you can't come home? Why you can't do this? Why you can't do that? And then she would just tell me something. I can't really recall what she said at the time, but I just know that she was like, soon, mom, soon. And I'm like I said, at the end of the day, I'm still trusting her, still trusting her.
Mm,
But that soon turns into 3 years have passed that I didn't see my daughter.
wow. 3 years.
So I always told her when I talk to her, I love her, I miss her. She'll tell me the same thing, and we would cry,
Mm,
you know. So
mm. I felt that. I feel like it's still fresh.
it is because I see
Still
this little
fresh.
girl right here,
Yeah.
and she's a very good mommy, and she protects her child to the fullest.
Wow. So Mika, her pet name, is home now, finally. So
Yes.
what can you see as her mother in terms of the psychological, physical, and emotional impacts? What could you see? She was home, you know, she'd been away 3 years. Been she'd been in being controlled by this friend who, seeing your daughter, she wasn't who you knew she was when you let her go. How did that, what kind of things did you see that disturbed you as a mother with your daughter
Um, you talking about when she came back or when
when she
she?
came back?
Okay, when she came
When,
back,
mm,
it was the drinking. It was the drinking, and hold up. No, no, no. This need the earring. No, no, no. Okay. It was the drinking. It was
mm-hmm,
the drinking, and she couldn't go to sleep. She would have nightmares, and I would have to go to, help her go to sleep. We would go to bed like 4 o'clock in the morning, and wake up at 6. So her sleeping habits was off. Um, and she just wanted to be outside all the time. She didn't care. We just drove around outside for 2 hours. She just didn't want to be in the house because that's what they was used to in the house all the time.
mm.
Yes.
Did she still have friends that she grew up with along the way, or did she lose those friends? What happened to those friends?
She didn't have the friends that she had. No, she just got new friends. No, the old friends just wanted to talk about what happened, and that's it.
I'm gonna ask a question, and you're
Yes, Dominique is a
free to
wonderful
say.
mother. Thank you.
Oh, someone asked
Yes,
that. Yes.
no, they were just saying Dominique is a great mom, and I say yes, she's a very good mom. Yes.
Oh, bless her. Yes. Well, there's a happy child there. That's evidence. I'm gonna
Yes.
ask this question, Mish. How do you feel about him being in jail, and what would you like to say to him?
That he's where he's at, and I hope that, I mean, only God can judge him. And I don't have no ill feelings because I have my daughter home and I have my grandbaby, and I hope that Jocelyn come home. But I'm literally fine with
Mhm.
him being where he's at because he needs to get punished and he needs to get help. So I would say mental jail. He like a mental hospital slash jail. That's what he needs because
Yeah.
he actually needs some help. He does.
Yeah.
He needs help. So I don't speak on them because I don't have no. My daddy told me a long time ago, if you can't say nothing good about somebody, don't say nothing at all. So with
Absolutely.
that being said,
Mm-hmm. What songs got you through at times? Before I get to the what songs got you through at times, how was your whole getting to the hotel? How did you, turn Sherlock Holmes or Poirot?
that was a good one. I would have said Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew sounds more better. It was more like she was on TMZ with the other girl, Joy, and
Mm,
somebody sent me the video. So when I saw the video, I was like, that's not my daughter. And then I looked over to the other side. I was like, that's my daughter. What happened to her hair? I was furious. I was furious. Oh my God, I was furious. And I called TMZ and I said, you're going to report the news, report it correctly. And they said, what are you talking about? Because Joy said that she was in California with a friend. I said, that friend is not her friend. That friend is Dominique, my daughter. And so they asked me to come on live and do a FaceTime, and I declined. And I knew that he was going to make her call or whatever, or get in contact with me somehow, and she did.
hmm
And I just waited. And when I waited, she's like, Mom, what did you do? I said, girl, I didn't do nothing. What you talking about? She said, you called TMZ. I said, girl, I ain't called TMZ, but where you at? She was like, Mom, I can't tell you that. I said, yes, you can. Just give me the initials of the hotel. She said, yeah. And I went from there, Marriott. And that's how I went. And I was
You
already
know,
going to LA anyway.
I remember that moment on that documentary where you had me holding on to the edges of my chair. If the material didn't tear, only God alone knows. But I'm sure myself and the world were waiting in bated breath with the hope that this woman was able to go and rescue her baby. I mean, we all rooted for you, Michelle. That moment was never to be seen ever in with our naked eyes, witnessing a mother just go in like that and not leaving. And it was the most amazing for me, and I'm sure real mothers who have that mother love like I know that you displayed in that documentary, that you was a woman on a mission. And you was, or what they call, there's that song that Bill Withers sang, what you won't do for love.
Yes. What
You
you want?
that you signatured that song with your daughter,
Yes, I did.
and many others, because that was a
Yes.
powerful encounter to see you, where we'd seen all the others shun their parents.
Right.
I know Dominique's with you. Just tell her the respect I have for her. opening that door and letting us see her hug you was
Right.
just phenomenal. You understand
Yeah.
me? It was phenomenal. I could see then her grounding. I could see how you raised her as your daughter, the type of moral standards.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what was going on, that's her mum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just
Yes.
want to, if I had my hat on, I'd take it off to you, Michelle.
Yes.
Um, Let me just get back to the real Michelle. What is the one thing that you always tell your children, and why?
I tell my children to be honest, respect other people, to love. If somebody don't treat you right, if somebody don't love you right, you have to leave. I can't give you a time when it's time to leave, but you do.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if somebody, is not respecting you the way you're supposed to be respected, you know, you have to reevaluate the whole situation. And that's what she was doing. And when I came to that door, she had told me she asked God to give her a sign. And that sign was me at the door. She was literally like, what are you doing here? How did you get here? She was just overwhelmed. And then she was like, sorry, y'all, she's beating me up. Your baby beat me up. She said, you talking about my mama? I'm talking about it in a good way.
That's protection right there
Right, okay,
from
look.
a young age.
Yes. So,
Wow.
but I always just told them to be honest with themselves. Love doesn't hurt, no matter what. It doesn't.
Mm.
And she was getting to a stage that she knew it was time to go. So when she did go, I was just going to have lunch with her. Remember, she's grown. At the time, she was 26. So I was just going to have lunch with my baby, seriously. And she realized that God said, no, it's time to go. And that's what the world got to see, me going to get her and saying thank you. And it was very, very difficult that night. I didn't get no sleep. I was watching her like a prison guard watching a prisoner.
I can't
I thought
imagine.
she was gonna escape or something.
I can't imagine. I
My
can't
daughter said I was
imagine.
watching her like they was watching Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
You gotta watch Hannibal Lecter. You gotta watch it real good.
I, I
So
I
that's what
can
she just
imagine
said.
you having to like pinch her to see if she's really home. If is
Yeah,
that
she was
really
like,
her?
yeah. I hugged her. I kissed her. I couldn't believe it. And then when we got home, the dog, he was like, "Oh my God!" He still knew her after 3 years. Lola still knows her. He still love her.
Oh,
He still love
bless.
her. His Nikaboo.
Wow. It's I'm just so happy that
You can get the stuff out the trunk.
you're happy, Dominique's happy, and there's happiness and joy because it didn't have to go that way, but that's the way God planned it, I believe. So,
Yes.
frost into the eyes of the world, of this world. I think it's fair to say, unknown to you at the time, because you weren't a singer, who was and is Michelle? Was Michelle a singer? Was you a singer?
No, I was not a singer. I was a young girl. Lost her mom at 12. That's why all I know how to do is be a good mother. A good mother. And I think I am. And so my mom passed away 10 days before my 13th birthday. So I was raised by my father. And
Mm,
it was good because he taught me a lot about people, about trust, and everything. I remember him telling me,
mm-hmm.
you don't got to watch your friends. No, you don't got to watch your enemies. It's the ones you call your friend you have to watch. You can't lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. He used to say little
Yeah.
cliches like that. And I took that and
Mm,
I learned and I put that in my adulthood. And he was telling the truth. So I appreciate my father for that. I'm the youngest out of 8. My parents was married
wow.
all the way until my mom died at the age of 45. And it wasn't, It was good. I mean, it wasn't bad and it wasn't good, but I just said I wanted to be the best mother ever. So I love my
Mm,
kids tremendously. And I taught them value, and I taught them a lot about just life. But as parents, you
yeah.
know that we move. They go to they go they go they go on their own road. Put it like that. They go on their own road, and
Mm,
all we can do as parents is be there for them. And that's why the name of my book, I Am My Daughter's Keeper. My daughter's keeper means I kept her secrets, I kept her lies, I kept her truth, and through all of it, I kept loving her. And that's
wow.
what you have to do. Keep loving her.
Wow.
You have to love your kids because they're gonna fall. You can't
Mm,
you can't like tell them this, you can't tell them that. You gotta let them be. You cannot
mm,
tell me that we dated everybody our parents liked growing up. See, parents don't understand that. You can't
no.
tell them, you can't fight with them, you can't tell them none of that. All you can do is just be there for them when they fall. And you
Mm-hmm.
do not sit up there and tell them, you know, you should have did this. No, because we was teenagers. See, that's the thing I don't understand about parents. Seriously, you was a teenager, and you know your mama did not like the boy that we brought home. It took about the third boy we brought home for them to say, okay, this is a good guy. And he might not
Mm,
even been the best, but he might have fooled them and he could have been the worst. So
yeah.
you have to, yes, unconditional love. People got to understand that unconditional love. Yes, you have to. So I
Yeah.
never asked her anything. My only question is, why did you stay so long? And she said, Mom, because I love them. And I said, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've
So,
all been there. We've all been in that space because
yes,
we love. Because we
yes,
love.
yes.
Yeah.
And we love this one right here. Yeah. Now, Mindy's
Is this
talking.
oh my.
And I love this one right here. Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh, I can tell. I know. I see your little movie star grandbaby.
Yes.
So, Michelle, what can you tell me now? I know you said to us, the viewers, that you lost your mum at the age of 12, and I know you shared that with me. What can you tell me about your experience at the age of 7 when your mother wanted you to get baptized?
My mom wanted me to get baptized, and I did not think the pastor was a good pastor. You know, he was always going to Jamaica, and I was like, why you don't never take his wife? So at a young age, I understood that something was not right with this pastor in this church. So I didn't. So she told me that if I didn't get baptized, I couldn't go to my friend's birthday party. So she tried to con me in that way. I said, well, I'm going to tell her I'm sorry that I missed her party because I was not getting baptized. I was like, no, I was not. Because I didn't believe in that church, and I still don't. And it's sad because after my mom died, my dad asked the pastor and his wife to come to our house. And my mom was a member of that church for like 15 years. And the pastor had the audacity to say, well, we're going to have to charge a cleaning fee. We're going to have to charge this. And my daddy said, what? My wife was like, she was stealing money so she could pay her tithes. And this is what you tell her? He was like, get the hell up out of my house. And we had to have it at a funeral home. And it was overbooked. It was packed. People were standing outside in line because my mom was so loved. But that's probably one reason why I don't go to church to this day. But I do believe in God. It's just that I
Yes.
haven't found the home church that I really trust. So at a
Hmm.
young age, I saw a pastor just was being dishonest on everything that was about money. And that's not what it's about. You know, what happened to she was a member and you supposed to have it there and talking about all these fees. So it really, at a young age, it really took me there. And I didn't,
Mm.
you know, like it. But I do believe in God. I just haven't walked into a church in a very long time. But I over this, when this is over, I promise you I will.
You're going
I'm
to
gonna
be
find me a
joining my
home church.
Saturday platform, the Giver of Dominion. You're going to be coming on that. I know you are.
Yes.
When I manage to get the time right.
Yes. Because I'm sitting in the car. My daughter's very patient with me with the
But
baby.
but
We
you
sit
know
in the
what,
parking
Michelle?
lot.
This is why I have this love for you, because we're coming from some months now, and you know
Right.
how, and for you to still go ahead and conduct, like I said, maximum respect. And even
Thank
if
you.
the car stops and when it is 4 o'clock your time, we can still go on. We can do, because I can go on, we can go on, because we've come to an understanding about life. And I think we can even turn this into a woman to woman affair.
Yes,
So
we can.
yeah, so
Yes.
I will honor the fact that when this is over, when this next hour comes and we jump back on, we're going to jump back on and have a big people's discussion. How
Yes.
about that? Yeah. All right,
Thank
so
you,
we're going
Sugar
to get
Cane 22.
ah
No, I was just reading the comments. She says respect. I said
oh
thank you.
yes. So you spoke about I Am My Daughter's Keeper. We know that's the book that's coming. You know, you gave us the reasons as to why you're your daughter's keeper. You've kept her secrets, the constant unconditional love, and everything else that comes with it. And that is such a bold statement. And with the way you rescued your daughter, that statement is so fitting for what the world saw. You are your daughter's keeper, without a
Yes.
doubt, without a doubt. So you are also a grandmother now, and I can
Mimi.
see Mimi. I can
Yes,
see
Mimi.
mother and baby doing great, and
Yes.
yourself as well. So Dominique is showing evidence of healing. We know
Yes.
that there was a tattoo that she had covered up.
Yes.
What did it represent before the covering?
It was him, and I can't
Mm,
remember what it looked like. It's over. It was a picture of him and the Chicago skyline, and she covered it up with a camera, um, because that was her past, and now she has her present, and Miss Kyla is her future. So
mm. How old is Kyla now?
Kyla is 8.5. She'll be 9 on the 11th, and she loves my keys, so that's what she's grabbing for, my keys. She's very active. She's very active, right, Kyla? She said, "Yeah."
Oh, bless her. She's doing extremely well considering the circumstances. So thank you, Kyla. London loves you. UK loves you. So
She said,
you said
"Okay."
to me, what's the time? 21:39. Okay, that's cool. So at 12 years old, what is it that you told at, at when each of your children, I'm sure you said at 12 years old, you told your children to envision something. What was it you told them to envision?
I told them a vision not having me here, and they didn't like it. But I said, "Well, this is the age I lost my mother. So can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine?" And my daughter always told me, "Mom, I don't know how you did it without a mom." And so I was like, "Thank you, I appreciate it." So I just sometimes want them to appreciate me. And at 12 years old, I told them that this is the age I lost my mom. And they
Mm.
was like, "Mom, I don't know what we would do without you." And I was just like, well, you'll be okay. I turned out great. And they was like, still, they don't like to envision it. Even when I turned 45, I brought it back to them again because that's the age my mom died at 45. And they
Yeah.
was like, "Mom, would you stop this?" I was like, "I'm just letting you know that I might not be here with you." And they was like, "Stop saying that." They didn't like when I told them, but I wanted them to understand it can happen.
Yeah.
So it's not a good feeling. Even when my girlfriends used to complain about their mom, I was like, "Go talk to somebody that do have a mom, because I don't have a mom, and I would do anything to get mine back." So, no.
It all kind of, it all makes sense as to who you are.
Yes.
And I mean, I know I don't even know half of who you are, but I just have I can just imagine. I can just imagine. And wow. So you're a big advocate for sex trafficking.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what you do with the role you play?
Um, I after the documentary, I literally people have reached out to me to come and talk to them or talk to other women that might have been in the same situation I have been in. So
Hmm.
I have been going around the world being a motivational speaker and talking to women and children. And, women are scared. They don't want what happened to me to happen to their daughter. And I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
Mm.
Seriously, no one. But writing a book at the same time, and I do interviews to talk about my experience. So and people have they don't have a clue. I didn't either.
No.
I didn't even know what sex trafficking was. But I did my research and talked to other moms, and and I was just like, wow, I'm
Mm,
just thinking an
mm,
older woman, older man, younger girl, and that's it. But it's a lot of horror stories behind it, and I don't even want to get into it. But I talked
no.
to a lot of
Mm-mm.
people, talked to a lot of parents, and a lot of young girls, hit me up in my DM and just want to say thank you. And I say, you're welcome. And I wish they wanted to, have a mom like me. But I was like, your mom probably just did the best that she could under the
But
circumstances.
she had.
So I
Mm,
don't never knock another mother. That's not what I'm here for. I commend all mothers that was in my shoes and got their daughters back from the predator or the boyfriend or whatever you want to call them. So
yeah,
we all in this together. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, it's, yeah. I mean, you speak to these mothers, so you know exactly what you're saying. And even there's, as sad as it may sound, there's women our age in them same situations.
Yes.
As old as we are, there are women to date in them same situations. So
One
I
of the things I
understand.
would say, um, I remember it was one lady, she reached out to me. I can't remember her name. And her daughter was in a situation and she said the text messaging. And I
Mm,
said, girl, it's probably not your daughter text messaging. It's probably him. And then she went
mm,
back to the text messaging. So one of the things that I do speak about, no passwords or passcodes or words that you know about your daughter or your son. If they in a situation, you would know how they text. You know
mm,
how they, so that's the one thing I have heard like people say, oh yeah, I was texting him or I was texting her, and then that text back, but they was like, they didn't think nothing of it. But my daughter and I do know her text messages. I know her, how she texts, and she know how I text.
yeah,
And even close friends of mine know how I text too. Didn't even realize that they knew that, but they did. So that's
yeah,
another thing to help because then that'll be the first thing that you be like, this is not her. So
mm,
learn your kids' text messages. They might type all bold, they might, have a cap or something. Just know your kids' text messages because if they're in trouble, the person is right there. They can't say nothing. They hoping that you'll know the text message so
pick
you
up.
will at least know that. Yeah, pick up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. No, that is very key, and exactly
Hmm.
that, like how your children speak, how they write, gestures,
Yep.
all those little things are key. Mothers who study their children really
Right.
well will know exactly what it is. You will know when there's something not right with your children or your
Exactly.
child.
You have to. You know.
Yeah.
I
No, that's
remember when my
very.
kids was younger and they had a they said if a stranger like picked up their child and they didn't know, so they told us to tell our kids a code name. And I still remember the code name was Rocky. That was their godmother's dog, Rocky. And that was the
Mm,
code name they had to give. And I learned that. I was like, dang, that makes sense that,
yeah.
if somebody said, hey, your mom told me to pick you up, and you like, well, what's the code word? And if they didn't say the code word, they knew that that was not the person they were supposed to pick up because people do strange things.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
so that's something nowadays you really have to do. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
definitely. Yeah, that is definitely something that needs to be drummed into children because they're too free to just go off,
right.
unfortunately. Yeah. Right, so I'm looking at the time. It's 9:46. I'm very mindful of it. Are you still, I know you're in the car still, Michelle. Have you stopped driving?
Yeah, stop driving so we can talk.
Oh, you're cool. All right, then.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. So you mentioned
Want to
there
take
are
some
three.
questions?
Yeah, let's see what we've got in here. Are there any questions? I'll read some comments. What coping mechanism did you use after the loss of your mother?
My mother used to listen to gospel music when I was a little girl, and she listened to it every day.
Mm,
And that's what I listened to because the gospel songs, is always telling, God is saying this, God is saying that. So I just did a lot of listening to music
mm.
and gospel songs. So every morning, even now, I listen to Kirk Franklin every morning, and I listen to him at the end when I'm going to bed, and I just pray throughout. So that's all I ever did, even growing up with my mom and everything. Um, I still miss her. I still get down and pray, but I know that she was with me when I got to that hotel. It was my
Oh,
mom and God with me.
hallelujah to
Yes.
that.
It
Hallelujah
was my
to
mom
that.
and God with that. So, yes.
Okay, thank you for that, Mish. That was asked by D Shaji 3. I have a next one here. Is the book out yet
No, it will be out this winter.
this
I had
winter?
a,
Okay,
yes, Christmas break. Yeah, no.
excellent. Are there any more? Have you come across any more? Okay. You mentioned there are three types of drugs. What are they?
Well, I'm gonna say the major drugs out there. I know we have a lot of drugs, but the major drugs is the ones crack cocaine, heroin, and there's a lot of R. Kelly's out there. And that's a drug. Love. Could be good, could be bad, and it could be ugly,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
So that drug right there is all three in one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a dangerous drug. That anyway. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Either way, I wouldn't know. But moving on swiftly. So, Miss Michelle, right? Not just any Michelle. Let me apologize. The real Michelle Kramer. Is it Kramer or Kramer?
It's
Kramer.
Kramer. Kramer, like in
Kramer.
Seinfeld. Yes, remember
Yeah.
Seinfeld? The
So,
one guy's
yeah.
name was Kramer. Yes, spelled the same
Yeah.
correct way, Kramer.
Because it's important for me that I have that pronunciation correctly. And
I
maybe
am
it's
my
my
daughter's
English
keeper.
is. Yes. Who's that? Someone asking? Hold on, let
Yeah,
me just
yeah.
scroll up.
The title. Yeah, I just was repeating it. I mean, just telling you this. I am my daughter's keeper.
Okay. Miss Powers asks, sometimes we think our story is heavy until we hear what someone else is carrying. Thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. God bless you. Thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
Louise. Yeah, it is. We always think that we're going through the worst situation until we hear somebody else's. I remember seeing this meme one day, and it said, if we were all to throw our problems in a pile,
Hmm.
the minute we see everybody else's, we'll snatch ours back because ours will not
Yeah,
be nothing near like what
yeah.
other people will be going through. And I can well believe that. So I'm looking at the time, Mish. So what I'm gonna do, are you home or at Dominic's? Are you by you
I'm
or
in the
Dominic's?
car. No, I'm
Oh
like
no,
15 minutes from home. So we stopped
are
at
you,
to get the yeah, we stopped. We was running around and we was trying to get home, but we didn't make it because that's when you text me and said we on now, and I was like, so um, if you want to finish up and just give me like 15 minutes, and then I could get back with you, and then if somebody has some more questions they would like to ask, and then we could do a Q&A when I come back.
yeah. Can I get some hearts and love hearts if everybody got that? We're gonna join back in about 15 minutes. So let me just see some loves and hearts so you all got that message from Michelle and myself. Once again, I do apologize. The time I
That's
just
okay.
anyway. she's
It's
here,
okay.
and this is what phenomenal women do. They don't let these things get in the way. You know what I'm
Right. We just
saying?
make it work. We just
We
make
just
it work.
make it work. Yeah. So I'm
Because we
seeing
do.
the
Make it
hearts.
work.
Send them
Okay.
hearts coming, and we'll
Okay. So
see
if you
you on
want
the other
to,
side.
you can stay on and just take down some questions, and you can. So when I come back, then I can answer the questions. You want to do it like that?
Yeah,
Then
I'll
you
kick
take
it
some
back on
questions
because
down.
yeah, because they're gonna
Okay.
throw
Why
me
you
off
got to
because
come
it's
back?
gonna throw me off, and I don't want to lose this
Okay.
recording. So what will happen is
Okay.
I'll come back on and get them to give me the questions while you're waiting. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
honey. Thank you,
Okay.
darling.
Okay. Bye
Speak to
bye.
you soon.
Bye
See you
bye.
guys soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.